Do you or anyone that you know struggle with anxiety or worry? Today we're going to talk about what would be considered normal anxiety and when does it become a problem and require treatment. There are several foundational principles that we talk about on our channel. And one of the things that we have several videos about is emotion. And anxiety is an emotion. Now, oftentimes we think that emotions are caused by events or circumstances that are occurring in our life. But the correct equation or formulation for an emotion, it's not that events or circumstances create the emotion. What it is we have events and circumstances that are occurring in our life all of the time. But those events or circumstances in and of themselves, those things mean nothing. They mean nothing until we attach meaning to them. And we do that through our thoughts. So there's nothing in life that is in and of itself scary. There's nothing in life that in and of itself is sad or that would make a person happy. All of those things just are. And then each one of us have the ability through choice to choose the thoughts that we want to think about that event or circumstance. And then the thoughts that we think about that create the emotion. So anxiety, it's an emotion that is created by our thoughts. So the question then is anxiety, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And you could ask that question of all emotions. So are emotions good or bad? And the answer to that is emotions are neither. They just are. So emotions are energy connected to our thoughts. Our thoughts then cause our brain to release chemicals, and those chemicals affect our body. And so we have different sensations in our body based upon the thoughts that our brain is thinking. And then we bring that all together and we give that a name, and that's what emotion is. Could anxiety serve a useful purpose? Now there's different names for anxiety, right? We could also call it worry. Anxiety taken to an extreme would become fear. So anxiety, think about it. What are the things in your life that you become anxious over? And how many of those things are within your control? And how many of those things are outside of your control? Now, one of the foundational principles that we talk about on principle-based living is the principle of control. And again, just to back up, the definition of a principle is it's a law. So it's something that operates in this world in which we live, whether you understand it, whether you know about it, whether you agree with it, it operates all of the time. An example of a natural law would be the law of gravity. So whether you know about gravity, whether you believe it, whether you understand it, if you step off a cliff, you're going to fall. So the principle of control says that there are only three things that we have control over. We control our conscious thought, we control our emotions, because as we just discussed, emotions come from our thoughts. So we create our emotions, and we control our behaviors. That's it. Everything else is influence. So if I am anxious or worried about another person and maybe what they're going to do or what they're not going to do I have any control over that? Maybe I'm worried about, maybe we have an activity planned and I'm worried about what the weather is going to do. Is it going to be good weather or is it going to storm? Well, do I have any control over that? Maybe I'm worried about something having to do with the world at a larger scale. I'm worried about our country going to war. I'm worried about there being a financial crisis. Those kinds of things. Do I have control over those things? The answer is no. But oftentimes we spend a lot of time worrying about those things, and yet there's nothing that we can do about it. And that worry, all that does is create stress in our body. It weakens our immune system and then opens us up for more health and physical problems in our life. It also creates more stress, which affects our relationships and our day-to-day behavior and actions. It can affect us in our jobs. It can affect us in school. If we have that type of anxiety for those reasons in our life, it's going to serve a negative purpose. It's not going to benefit us in any way. Here's an interesting thing just to know is Harvard University did a study a number of years ago, and they looked at stress and anxiety, and they found that 93% of the things that we worry about in our life, first of all, never happen, and then the other 7% are things that we have no control over. So most of the time the worry and anxiety is needless. It doesn't serve any useful purpose. So let's talk though quickly about how it can serve a healthy purpose. Let's say that I'm going to give a talk in front of a group of people, and I'm worried about doing that because I'm afraid that I'm not going to do a very good job. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to communicate my message to the people, and so I begin to feel this stress and anxiety. So what I have is I have a situation or a circumstance. I'm going to give a talk. I have a thought or belief about that. So my thought is, what if I mess up? What if I'm not prepared? What if they don't like it? What if I'm not going to be able to communicate what it is that I want to share or communicate to them? And now the emotion that I feel is anxiety or nervousness. Now that anxiety can now influence my behavior, and my behavior may be that I'm going to prepare for that talk, and so I may end up being better prepared for it and do a better job. And so in that situation, that anxiety it's pretty normal. You know, the fear of public speaking is one of the most common fears that exists in our society today. So that would be a normal thing to be afraid of or to experience anxiety over, which may motivate me to take action to help reduce the fear or the anxiety. So, and again, that's coming from the thought. So I'm worried that I won't do very well, but I prepare, so I go out and I do a better job. That would be a healthy way of responding to anxiety. Now, another unhealthy way would be the same situation. I'm going to give a talk in front of a group of people. That's a situation. I have the thought that that's going to be really scary. I may mess up. I won't do a very good job. I may stumble all over my words. People are going to laugh at me. I can have all of those thoughts that creates that feeling of anxiety. And then in response to that anxiety, I may choose to not give the talk, or I may choose to avoid the situation. So how do you know if the anxiety that you're experiencing in your life, or maybe in a family member or a friend, is it normal anxiety, or is it anxiety that would benefit from treatment? Anytime the anxiety is motivating you to take action to help resolve this situation that's creating the anxiety, and if it's something that you have control over, then that's good and normal anxiety. But anytime the anxiety grows to the level where it prevents you from taking the action that you want to take, or it in some way begins to hinder you in life, so you stop leaving the home, you stop interacting with other people, you stop socializing, you stop doing activities that are part of normal life. If you are experiencing anxiety to that level, then that's the time that you may want to seek counseling or professional help, so that you can gain more knowledge and more tools to help you be able to resolve that anxiety and continue to live a normal, healthy, successful life. Thanks for watching today. If you'd like to know more about principle-based living and who we are and what we do, visit our website at principlebasedliving.com, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, be sure and follow me here.